I believe that men and women are just different.
Yeah, I agree.
And so if a guy manipulates a chick, that's all on him because a chick wants to believe. When a chick tries to manipulate a man, it's up to him to sort through the BS. But according to who he is, he got some draws because I mean he's a college athlete. He got himself some draws, got it knocked up, and was like, oh damn.
Okay,
You should use
so
my method of tying the condom up.
I don't agree with that, AP. Like, I get double standards, they exist for a reason and all of that fun stuff, but like a man manipulating a woman and it is what it is. Like, we just accept that as game, right? But at the end of the day, like, we place blame on the woman to be like, well, you didn't know better. You should have been able to see through the BS, right? Like, that's the conversation that we have with women. You should have chose better. You should have vetted better. Like, I think that's on both fronts. Like, there's no way to really see it for what it is without an outside neutral party who has your best interest at heart to be like, listen, this is what I see and this is what you're missing. On both fronts. I think that's the one situation when people are conning each other where like everybody's a loser in that sense. Everybody. Whether you are the person who is being conned, whether you are the person who is conning, like, or whether you're the bystander who's choosing not to say anything. Everybody in that situation is absolutely losing. Like, I don't think that is a situation, at least for me, logically, where the double standard makes sense in any shape or form.
Oh
Can
no,
I
no, I was just
oh, go
answering
ahead.
Marcus's question. He basically flipped it around. So my thought is the double standard does exist when a man is truly manipulative. If a man did what she did going in, that that's on him. He
They do it all the time.
that's disgusting to me. That is
Wait,
disgusting to
wait,
me. Like
wait,
I
not
just believe that people should be authentically go into every situation, authentically who they are, and let the chips fall or the dice fall
listen.
how they fall.
Look,
Like
look, let
that's
me
just go
AP,
ahead.
the dreamer. Welcome to the new world of dating. I didn't even know they did that back then, but if you really hate what they did, you will be sick of the shenanigans that are going on now. People just manipulate each other day in and day out. Like, what?
Also, like, uh, what do we call men that do that in this era? We call them gaslighters, we call them manipulators, we call them predators, we call, like, the stigma
Okay.
around men that do that is like is super high, right? Like, with
She's
women, we just call
insane.
them competitive, right? But really, like, it's manipulative behavior, right?
Yes.
We do. Let's be really honest. We give women more of a pass for doing this stuff than we do
Well,
men,
that's
right?
No, no,
because
no, 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 no.
men.
Hang
That's
on. Let
okay. Go
me
ahead and finish.
give me a second to land, right? When women do it, we say that they're fitting into his plan. We say that they're like feminine, right? Like, they're following his lead. They're women who understand how to be submissive. They can control their nature, right? Like, they understand what it is to compete with other women. But when men do it, they're narcissistic, they're predators, they're like F boys, they're all like, if we're really honest and really neutral about this, women get way more of a pass for manipulating situations in this way than men do.
But let me ask you a question. But don't they want so all of the things that you just named are things that guys want women to do, like, oh, you should be a part of his plan, you should, those are things, but let me just let me finish
Remember we
let me
said
finish
pick
let me
me. We had
listen,
that
pick
topic
me.
about the pick me, and
We call
everybody
them
was
pick
saying
me
you need to be the pick me if you want to get picked. Even the men,
because
the
they are a pick
men
me.
were saying pick me's get picked.
Yes.
So
So,
it
so let me just say this: we call them pygmies, But then on the other side, I always say when you're leading with sex, when you are a side chick, all of that is form of manipulation. And when you're luring this guy in for whatever pleasures, to me, that's a form of manipulation. You're trying to bring him into whatever you've got, go lure him in. And I think that we just call it different things. Oh, she's this, she's that. But I see exactly what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. But
hang on one second. So I think, because y'all bring up a really great point. The pick me thing is what women call each other when women step on each other to make themselves more presentable to men. I'm not saying y'all. I'm saying generally when women call each other pick me's, it's literally a woman who's like, well, I don't do that. Well, I think that behavior is disgusting. I think it's literally putting another woman down to be more presentable to a man, right? Like, it's really like it goes against the sister code. That's pick-me behavior. But here's the thing, right? Because men see pick-me's differently than women see pick-me's. Men see pick-me's as women who authentically, and this is like the emphasis, authentically are the woman who is submissive, who's willing to follow his lead, who's willing to pivot when need be, right? Women see pick me as the girl who wants to be like really presentable, of like, hey, I want to be, she has her hand up, she's the kid in class who's like super eager to answer the questions. Women see that nature of like vindictive competitiveness as pick me behavior, right? Like, it's two totally different stories.
Kiss ass on
I
get that,
but differ, and the reason I say that is because the idea, I think for women, at least for me, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, in terms of pick me, the pick me behavior is is the total opposite of being genuine to who you are. It is the whole purpose. Hold on. I said from a woman's perspective, the whole purpose is you are trying to adapt and adjust to that guy likes, basically what she did. Trying to adapt, adjust to what that guy likes, what he wants, trying to study to make sure that you are moving in that direction for the purposes of him choosing you over the other women. So it doesn't mean that the way that she's moving is genuine. It doesn't. It's for the purpose of winning that guy.
Give me a second.
Right.
Just before you say anything, because I want you to address both questions. Because in that case, then why are men promoting you should do this? If she's genuinely not that person, now you're trying to manipulate her into being what you want her to be. You wouldn't be on this platform saying, y'all women need to stop being whores. Y'all women, they may have been born whores. They may have come from a whoredom family. And so you're trying to make them close their legs when they like sex, or you're trying to make them the cook. And she don't like to cook. She likes to be a business lady. That's all manipulation. That's trying to make her conform to, bringing shame into it. Why don't we go back to shaming people? If we're talking about genuine behavior, you wouldn't need shame. You would just let them be who they are, would you not?
All right, perfect. So here's what, like, I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to address you, Shannon, and then I'll address what Mistaken said. So from what I hear of men, if you want to be married, then shame and all of X, Y, and Z is what you need to adjust to. If you don't, if you just want cohabitation, you want a long-term relationship, you want to be single for the rest of your life, or you want a man who's willing to like do whatever it is that you want to do, continue on as you are, right? That's the rhetoric that men have perpetually been talking about, right? Like, if
so you don't hear men shame women for not wanting to be married or for not wanting to have kids.
So I think let me so the men who are pro family, genuinely, right? Because there are men out there that do things for clicks. The men who are genuinely pro family are like, listen, if you are a woman who is pro family, if you want these things, right? Because I think the messenger is just as important as the message. You can't just be taking advice from anybody and everybody, because let's be honest, Some people give really terrible advice. If you are genuinely interested in somebody who is promoting healthy family dynamics, here are the things that you need to do. They are X, Y, and Z. You need to, guard your chastity. You need to be submissive. You need to be feminine. You need to be, and they will define what that looks like for them with the acknowledgement that that looks different for other men, right? Men who are in that realm of like healthy dynamics will also say, listen, if you just want to rip and run the streets, have at it. Marriage is just not for you. Cool. No big deal. The men who are out here shaming and gaming and naming, those are the men who have like this idea that every woman needs to be desirable to them specifically, right? And every woman needs to fit into that so that they have the illusion of options, right? Again, the messenger is just as important as the message. Those are maybe not men that you want to be listening to because they just want to exercise their options and not genuinely get married.
Okay. Well, that needed to be said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm totally cool with that. And like, I forgot what the mistaken said. I'm so sorry.